Why, hello, my delightful people. Welcome to another incredible, beautiful, fantastic day of Pete and Jeremy's D&D Time. I am your host, the indefatigable Fat Jeremy, and I am joined by my co-host.
I too am here. My name, as some of you may or may not be aware, is the one, the only, the homebrewed Pete. I forgot that we were going to be doing these slow voices at the beginning of every stream.
That's particularly interesting, Peter, as I started out first. Anywho, welcome everyone to DnDTime Brews, a homebrew stream where Pete and I and you all come up with some fantastic, exciting homebrew options for character Pete and Jeremy's D&D time. These options, right now and throughout the series, are going to be in preliminary draft form. But once Peter and I have finished our evaluation and run it by you, the almighty judge of the chat, we'll be jumping in and ready for you all to play.
So I hope all of you, I was going to say, well, I hope all of you cool cats out there are ready to get green, as we're going to be diving back into our green sun. Patron Warlock. I'm doing good, Jeremy.
I'm also doing real good. How are you guys in the chat? I see my chat's not working. Thank you, Twitch. That's exactly what I want. As a streamer, I want to not engage with my chat at all, so thank you for hiding it.
Do you have a drink tonight, Jeremy?
Oh, of course, right. As you all know, we start our stream off every night talking about what delectable beverage we'll be partaking. For me, it is a simple black rum with Coca-Cola.
I think that drink is called the Jeremy, yes?
No, it's called a rum and Coke.
Yeah, fair enough.
It could be called we could homebrew a special rum and Coke, which is...
If it uses specifically Kraken rum. And
no, actually, I'm not drinking Kraken. I'm drinking...
What do you have?
Yeah, I know, it's weird. No, I'm drinking Sailor Jerry's.
Ooh.
Which is like, it's like another fairly cheap rum. But
I am drinking Lagunitas IPA, India Pale Ale, from the Lagunitas Brewing Company. That's what I got going.
Very exciting. It's a little more exciting than what I'm rolling with right now.
It's all right. It's I'm not a huge IPA guy, but this is what I had in my house. So
well, sometimes that's all it is.
I've been day drinking all day today. Actually, it's my grandparents' 64th anniversary today.
Oh well, congratulations to grandparents.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, really. That's so long.
Yes, it is. Without further ado, do you want?
Yeah. Did I open up? I did not bring Spectator in. All right, Spectator, welcome to the chat.
Have we been? Oh, okay. I thought you were saying we've been silent this whole time.
No. No, Raventail, Blacktail, and there'll be no drunk stream right now.
At least not today. Maybe someday.
I think we're abandoning the smooth voices for the time being. Anyway, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. We're really excited to dive back into the Warlock Patron for the Green Sun. Warlock Patron, the Green Sun. We have looked at it and thought about it a little bit over the last week. I will say I personally haven't as much time as I would have liked to to dig into it.
Yes.
There's definitely, I think it's in a much more workable place than we last left it. So I think Pete and I were talking a little bit, and I think what our plan is here for these, and for DnDTime Brews going forward, is we're going to kind of split the stream into two smaller portions. One being much more of a brainstorming stream where we brainstorm cool concepts for whatever we're doing, maybe brainstorm like a whole bunch of different potential ability-like things, but not really try and fit anything in. Then over the course of the following week, or however long before our next show, Pete and I would go through and try and take all that brainstorming and all those features we've come up with and try and slot them into whatever subclass or whatever we're doing. That way we don't run into a lot of that, like, how do we make this work? just on the show.
Yeah. So you don't have to watch us sit in silence as we stare at text.
It's kind of like picking spells, right? Some of them are real easy, but then other ones it's just like, what on earth is a 4th level spell that makes sense for this to add to the spell list?
Yeah.
Which that would just involve scrolling through pages of spells. I see a lot of support in chat for the drunk stream.
One of these days.
What'll probably happen.
DnDTime Brews.
DnDTime
R-rated edition.
Overbrewed. I don't know. Anywho.
Yeah, we could work on that. And with regards to, because obviously the reason we're making these is so that people can have the opportunity to play them in D&D time. We're still kind of working about how we want to actually integrate them into the Flag and Slayer, nice. Integrate them into the show proper, into the game. So we're still working on that, but eventually these things will be there for you to play. Although there's probably going to be a little bit of a buffer between us finishing each thing and then taking some time to review it before we make it available, and obviously putting it through the filter of you guys with your discerning, mechanically minded eyes looking at it and telling us that we've made something that's completely unplayable and overpowered.
Anyway, additionally, I know the big question out there from all you folks, what about Morden Cannons' Tome of Foes? Which I think, Pete, if you're cool with this, maybe our D&D Time Talks can be our kind of initial review of Tome of Foes.
I am super cool with that.
It's going to involve me reading a lot on the bus, but you know what? I got nothing else to do on the bus, so really it's all on you, Pete.
I'm absolutely in for that.
I'm super stoked. It's a real cool book. If you haven't had the opportunity to pick it up, which I know a lot of people haven't had that opportunity because a lot of game stores have had issues with defective products, damaged books showing up, which, man, that'd be such a damn bummer if you showed up to the store expecting a book that you pre-ordered and they tell you, no, it was damaged. Anywho, we'll talk more about that on Wednesday. I'm pretty excited.
It should be pretty sweet.
Overall, high quality book, real scary. That's all I'm going to say right now. Without I really dig that Flag and Slayer name. That was definitely
Flag and Slayers is pretty funny.
I'm gonna write that down here somewhere. Open my. Well, anywho, let's jump into our Warlock Patron, the Green Sun. Do we have any more announcements, Pete? I know we do, so let's just get them over now. Pete, tell the good folks what's going on this week.
Oh, yes. So this upcoming Friday, there will not be a Pete and Jeremy's D&D time as per usual. We will still be running the stream on Friday, but it's a player DM day. So our Myth-Tier adventurers, those with Myth-Tier's characters, are going to be running adventures for me and Jeremy instead, kind of a flipperoo, where me and Jeremy will be playing Bartholomew and Roger. We have no idea what we're in store for. We just kind of gave them the keys to the city, so to speak, of D&D time, said, do whatever you want, and we will play in it. So it should be a lot of fun. Me and Jeremy are both excited to see what they came up with. So tune into that. But there will be no normal sign up this week, and we will return to our normally scheduled programming the Friday after.
Yeah, so with that, there will be no signups for Pete and Jeremy's D&D time this week. One more thing, don't worry about that this week. But yeah, should be pretty awesome. I'm super excited for it personally. Pete, are you excited to play Bartholomew? How are you going to make Bartholomew a lower character? How are you going to do that?
It's going to feel incorrect. Bartholomew's only ever been godlike in his power. So for him to actually have to I have to know what spell I'm doing when I say that he does something. Like what?
You can't just say it.
I can't just say what the effect is. I have to know what spell I'm casting.
Yeah, it sounds like a real struggle, Pete.
Obviously, I don't know how Bartholomew's doing.
Bartholomew is definitely a Circle of the Land druid.
Yeah, I'm building him actually as a level 3 fighter.
Weird.
I almost want to and be like, Bartholomew's decided not to use his magic.
I'm sorry.
Anyway.
Make sure to tune in next Friday for that, though. It's going to be great. So without further ado, let's jump into our talk about the Green Sun patron for the Warlock. in retrospect, the first thing I think Pete and I realized is, wow, Warlock subclasses are probably the hardest subclass we could have done.
Yes.
So, trial by fire here in DnDTime Brews.
In addition, in a lot of ways, the Green Sun is one of like the most intricate like pieces of lore. Like, unlike if we were doing like say a trash druid, where it's just like, oh yeah, anything to do with trash, the Green Sun is like a really complicated entity with a lot of rules that are only in my head. Like,
yeah, right. Yeah. Bartholomew was actually a thief rogue. He just uses lots of magic items, using his magical items.
He has hundreds and hundreds of luck blades. That's how Bartholomew gets by.
But yeah, regardless, let's jump in. So what we did here is we took this scratch pad of ideas. This was kind of our consolidated, boiled down list of concepts that we all homebrewed a week ago on the stream. And we got a whole bunch of cool ideas here. Our main topics that we're focusing on, though, were bureaucracy, namely in the lawful sense, like order, law, control. Those are kind of our key deals. And forcing others to obey them. So we really wanted to make sure that our abilities really showed that and imparted that throughout the class. There was obviously an undertone of horror, of Lovecraftian kind of feel. And one of the words that was thrown around a whole lot last week was discomfort. And I think the feel that we're really going for with that is that the Green Sun gets its power from these negative emotions, this discomfort, this unease in people throughout the lands of DnDTime. So
boredom, apathy.
Exactly. Boredom, apathy, sadness, despondence, all of this kind of stuff. We wanted to have a home in the subclass to some degree. We felt that it was a little too, what's the word? Plutonic? A little too earthly to be quite a great old one deal, even though the Green Sun itself is some inscrutable eldritch being or entity, maybe not even a being. The cult is very much a real, physical, tangible thing that people know about that exists. So we felt the great old one was a little too aloof for what we wanted in the Green Sun. And we felt that the Fey Pact was a little too whimsical, maybe.
Yeah, whimsical.
And it's like a very
aloof was a great choice of word for that, Jeremy.
Thank you. But yeah, we felt that the Fey Pact was a little too whimsical, and in that dark whimsy sense, where the Green Sun's almost like a little goofy to a degree. And so we felt that there really was a space for creating our own subclass. One of the things we're using is our main tool, and I didn't really discuss this last week, but for those not aware, we use Google Docs for basically everything that we do here. As you can see, we got Pete's little red cursor down here, so you can see in real time everything that Pete changes on this this little scratch pad we got, and you can obviously see my things because it's the cursor. So we really love this. It makes a really cool, useful tool to homebrew and collaborate.
It's excellent
in real time. So without further ado,
it's excellent.
Let's jump down to the very first feature of the Green Sun, where we talk about the definition, the description, the flavor text. All of these flavor texts we have here are from the other Warlock patrons. Will we be able to get read-only access to watch it independently while you go through it? I don't think so, Bionic Shiva. Maybe we'll have to think about that in the future as something that could be really cool. Letting people open up their own copy of this to like view. That's another really cool feature we could do.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
We had
might be a little bit tricky to set it up because we have to do it for each doc. Definitely, we should think about that though.
Yeah, that could be really cool. Thanks for the idea. Actually, can you write that down?
Yeah.
It's hard for me to get a scratch pad with all the stuff.
I'll put it on the list. I have my list from last week open too.
Yeah, put it up with Flag and Slayer. Thank you.
Yes, I'll put Flag and Slayers on there too. Mind if I give this a read? Last week's thing.
Pete, please hit us.
All right,
hit us with.
So here is kind of our description of what a Green Sun patron is. Your patron is an inscrutable eldritch force known only as the Green Sun. Your powder your powder. Your power is provided through the Cult of the Green Sun, a multi-branch bureaucratic body which oversees all municipal works within the land of D&D time. The cult feeds upon the negative emotions of others and works to spread discomfort to others. Some language probably come up there. As a field agent, your position may be a lobbyist, a quality control agent, a regulator, a waste disposal agent, or one of the many other positions from one of many branches, including, but not limited to, the Department of Land Vehicles, the Department of Waste Collection, the Postal Service, the Department of Energy Resources, or the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. So basically the idea is that the Green Sun Warlock, you get your power through one of the various kind of cult branches. You work for the cult, and the cult is kind of siphoning the power of the Green Sun through you, whatever that kind of eldritch force is, whatever power they are granted it. You're not kind of directly communing with the Green Sun, you're kind of communing through this intermediary that is the cult.
Yeah, exactly. Your power comes from the greater bureaucratic body, which is cool. It's kind of that middleman, I guess you could. One of the things we really liked about this lookup, and most of these other descriptions that we have up here for the other options had this as well, but I kind of cut them out toward the end. A list of potential connections that you would have. So, for example, under the Fiend, where I left off here, it says Fiend patrons you could have include Asmodeus, Beelzebub, Levistus, and a bunch of things from both the Forgotten Realms setting and many other settings. In our case, we're making something very specifically for D&D time, so we wanted to kind of give you some jump-off points in this description of what kind of a character you might want to play. That's why we have like lobbyist, quality control agent, regulator, etc., and then the branches to really give you some ideas for the kinds of characters we kind of expect to jump in. Albeit, you can always do something totally different, but it's important to make that as an educated choice. Not just doing something different for no reason, but because you have the context of what's expected. Mm-hmm. And that's something we're going to talk, we'll probably talk about more in like a talks episode about
making as I said, that's probably worth a talks.
Characters. But yeah, there is our basic description. It hits all of our core points: bureaucracy, eldritch, bureaucratic, and municipal work. Those are really key concepts.
Yep. And I changed the word discomfort to unease because I think that's a better. I think that's a better indicator. Discomfort was a word I was I think mostly using a lot last time, which wasn't quite hitting the nail on the head for what they go for.
See, we got Raventail in chat. You're stealing Flagon Slayer from a Ren Fair. Well, then the Ren Fair is going to sue us. You can't do this to us, Raventail. You can't throw us into this mess.
I've already put in the papers to have it copyrighted.
But anywho, so there's our basic description of this being you struck a bargain. So moving on to our really next step here is the spell list. We did not talk about this pretty much at all last week. We very briefly touched on a few spells that we thought were really applicable. So this is what we've really come down to. Bane at level 1. And the way Warlock spell lists work, we should probably start with that. These are spells that a Warlock can pick in addition to their other spells. These are not spells that the Warlock automatically knows. A lot of classes, their expended spell list are things that they know. That's not the case. These are additional options.
A strange design choice.
A really freaking weird choice, especially for a class with so limited spell options. But anywho, we wanted to make these spells that really fit in and fit that feel we were looking for. So at level 1, we went with Bane and Dissonant Whisper. Bane, in the normal context, it's like a curse, right? It's a divine kind of like maleficence, basically, that you inflict. And in this case, we thought that was a really great interaction that fit our discomfort kind of feel, right? Our unease. In that kind of flavor, it works really well. I think. Dissonant Whispers was another spell that we went with. Spell that normally I think is reserved for Bard.
Yep, it's a Bard exclusive, yeah.
Yeah, we thought even more than Bane. Dissonant Whispers super hits the mark there. And it's a really cool spell. It has some really unique effect, causing creatures to flee from you as their reaction. So we really...
and it hits on that psychic damage, too, which is something that's pretty integral to the Green Sun, is kind of the psychic ability is a part of it.
So yeah, we really thought that would be a good choice here. Level 2?
Level 2. Mind if I take this one?
Please. We'll swap
we
up.
grabbed, yeah, I think it's a good idea. We grabbed Detect Thoughts, again, kind of tapping into that psychic thing, and also the Green Sun kind of being able to kind of passively read minds of people around them for a time. It felt fitting. It lets them kind of get inside people's heads, which is how they would kind of do their work. So it seemed kind of on brand. And Pass Without Trace is a little bit of a stranger pick. The reason we picked it is actually we had an ability later on that we were talking about last time. We were considering this kind of ability that would allow them to blend into crowds, to walk into places unnoticed because they have this kind of air of authority and people just don't want to bother them. So rather than, we didn't end up keeping that ability as one of their main abilities, but we think the spell Pass Without a Trace allows you to kind of get that vibe with just that one spell cast. So.
Yeah, and there were some other spell options that would also have let us get that effect, right? Of I pass through an area and people don't pay me mind. The problem is those spells are like calm emotions, which is absolutely so
right.
off-brand for what
actually
we're doing.
Directly counter.
Yeah, which would it's the same effect, but the wrong idea for what we're hitting on. I think Pass Without a Trace is like a good option for us, but it's one of the ones that we're not 100% on. That might change in the future. At level 3, we went with Blink and Sending. Sending, we thought, just made a ton of sense for a character like this. A character that's connected to this greater eldritch bureaucratic body.
Ability to communicate with other members and things like that.
Especially if you're on if you go with the Postal Service option. If you're
it's dead
I'm
on.
an agent of the Postal Service. How can you not have Sending?
You need Sending.
It has to be on there because that is one of our core departments. And then the other one we went with is Blink. Blink is another one of those ones we're not super sure of. It's dark. It's got this whimsy feel, which does come up later on in the class. We'll talk about it later. But we're maybe. Maybe there's a better option.
Yeah, we were looking at non-detection a little bit, but that didn't feel impactful enough. Just kind of that psychic shielding doesn't really what you want as a Warlock spell.
Yeah, especially considering Warlocks only ever get 2 real spell slots until they hit much higher levels. So we really wanted, even if non-detection made the most sense, putting it on here, it's the kind of spell I wouldn't expect many Warlocks. But maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So, let us know how you feel.
That's the kind of things these are the kind of things we'd love to hear people's thoughts on.
Pete, level 4 was a really cool level for us, I think.
Yeah, level 4, I think the nose was hit pretty on the head. Confusion. This is, pretty one-to-one. It's what the Green Sun Warlocks are trying to do is confuse people, throw people off their game, kind of trigger these nuanced negative emotions. And Confusion is a pretty impactful spell that affects a lot of creatures when you cast it. And then Ivard's Black Tentacles, which is normally just a wizard spell, actually. It feels like it should be a Warlock spell, but it's just a wizard spell. But basically you summon these kind of big, kind of eldritch. It's very Lovecraftian. It's very eldritch. Both of these were pretty... felt pretty easy
tentacles. Picks. Yeah, Ivard's Black Tentacles is definitely an easy shot for what we're going for. But Confusion especially hit the nail on the head there. Level 5, we went with Contingency, Modify Memory, and Hallow. Now, obviously, if you're familiar with how these generally are designed, these expanded spell lists, you only get 2 spells. So what this just means is we're probably going to cut one of these.
We haven't pared it down yet.
Contingency we thought was super appropriate in this very lawful regimented order kind of deal, but we realized that it may not be that good on a Warlock who only has a very limited spell variety anyway. But maybe it is, right? Contingency lasts for a long time, so let's maybe get a cheat in a 3rd spell. So that's maybe, we'll see. Modify Memory, super on the nose. We're picking that
very
one.
Very good.
And Hallow is the one that's kind of fighting with Contingency there. Hallow allows you to designate an area, a space, and apply some rules, some laws And I think this zone of authority, this kind of zone of command that you get to pick the laws and rules for
it definitely feels fitting.
Yeah, it's super fitting. But Hell is also one of those weirder spells that are rarely used. So
yeah, and also that's something that you're going to see kind of reflected in some of the future abilities that we give the Green Sun Warlock.
Yeah, exactly. So iffy about continued CO versus Hallow. We're probably going to go with Hallow, but let us know if you feel something.
We'll see.
Yeah, I totally agree with Bionic Shiba in the chat. You got to keep that Modify Memory.
Yeah, Modify Memory is a great one.
You saw nothing. Let's move on to our first ability. The way Warlocks work is they will get an ability at 1st level, at 6th level, and at 10th level, related to their subclass. Generally speaking, a lot of the Warlock is very funky because they are defined by their subclass. They get their subclass at level 1. It is a super defining and core identifier to who they are and what kind of character they're playing. But the power level of their subclass options, generally speaking, aren't all that high. There's not a super high level of impact in most of them most of the time. Now, that's not true for everything. There are definitely some that are much more impactful, but we really had to keep that in mind when we were talking about this 1st level feature. And we also wanted to make sure that this 1st level feature really struck the chord that we were looking at. So, for example, let's talk, before we jump into this Green Sun feature that we've come up with, let's talk a little bit about the Archfey and maybe the Fiend. I think Archfey and Fiend are the two more core options, and I'll explain that. Archfey gives you an area of influence. You get to use an area attack, and that attack either fears or charms creatures for 1 round. So Fear is a very interesting effect. It gives creatures disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks while you're within their line of sight. That's a very potent ability. Having disadvantage on all their attacks, it's, even for 1 round, pretty serious impact. Charm means they cannot attack you, and you have advantage on ability checks to interact with. So right now, the Archfey gets a 2-for-1, really, depending on whether they're in combat or out of combat. If they're out of combat, the Charm is super helpful because it allows them to gain advantage on these abilities and perhaps interact. Whereas the Frightened condition allows them to, detract from the enemies, make them weaker. The Charm condition can also be used to make them immune to damage, basically, for a round, which is really good. You saying, Pete?
I was going to say, it has the Charm condition has the cool caveat that you don't see with a lot of Charm abilities, where, like, low-level Charm abilities, usually after they are done, the person is aware that they are charmed. This is an ability that you can just kind of try. It doesn't actually specify that once you've done it, they know that you tried to charm them. So you can, it's a great utility option that you can use without having that, like, risky consequence that I think a lot of people associate with the charm effects.
Yeah, and it's super, the Fate Pact Warlock, and this could be a whole Talks episode, is the most wildly misunderstood Warlock option among all of them. Because people just don't understand how it's supposed to work, I think. Because this effect, it does not have verbal, somatic, or material components because it is not a spell. If you cast a spell on someone, they know you're casting a spell because you're doing crazy hand gestures, holding up your orb, and saying arcane words at them. That's not the case here. This is just
I imagine this you just kind of like
present.
I was gonna say, I imagine this you just kind of say something and your eyes glow a little bit, and then that's about it.
Yeah, Glamour Bart style. But anyway, I digress. Both those abilities are pretty good in combat and very versatile. So that's an important choice. Fiend Pack.
And then for the Fiend.
Pete, you want to cover it?
Yeah, I'll take this one. The Fiend Pack, we have Dark One's Blessing. When you reduce a hostile creature to 0 points, you gain temporary hit points equal to your Charisma modifier plus your Warlock level, a minimum of 1. So odds are when you're taking this ability, you're gaining temporary hit points when you do something. Probably have a +3 modifier or, a +2, +4, somewhere in that range. So you're gaining, about 4 hit points on average, I would say, from this ability. It is a much different kind of feel of effect, because rather than the one kind of time impact Fey presence, this is something that you're going to benefit from consistently, albeit the impact is nowhere near as high as the one time that you use your Fey presence, and that's kind of how it balances out. It also doesn't have that same degree of utility. A lot of the effectiveness, I think, comes in kind of how you play your game and how many encounters you're having, but it feels cool. It's consistent. I personally tend to like abilities that always give you the benefits of them. And that's kind of that's the opposite end of the spectrum, the opposite end of the spectrum. And we kind of ended up emulating something that was a little bit closer to the Fate Presence feature. Yes.
Yeah, it's important also to note that the Fiend is, and every class has one of these, the Fiend is the baseline. It is the simplest. Yes. That does not mean easiest, but the simplest, it is the least complicated, and it is the most direct subclass option for a Warlock. Once you're going on to the Archfey, you get a little more complicated, and once you go to the Great Old One, you're off the deep end. Everything's hunky-dory.
Yeah, So
we wanted to really juggle somewhere between the Archfey and the Great Old One. The Great Old One has like a really weird feature. It gives you telepathy. You can talk to creatures. You don't need to share a language, but needs to know a language. It's super like you can do weird, obtuse stuff with it. Your creativity is the limit with the Great Old One. We wanted something a little less ambiguous, but we wanted something a little more interesting than maybe the Archfey. So we came up with, and we talked about this during the show the other day, the Green Sun got the green tape as their, and this was kind of based off of the red tape, which is a common term referring to overly bureaucratic, convoluted like rules and regulations that cause you to do a whole bunch of paperwork and go through a whole bunch of rigmarole to get anything done. We really wanted that to show up and come across in our design. So I highlighted here two really key points that we were going for. And it's the bureaucratic structure of your mind allows you to enforce your magical order upon others. A really short, sweet tagline saying, because your mind works in this convoluted way, you can use your magic to force other people to do this. So, and the ability reads, as an action, choose a creature that you can see within 60 feet of you. It must make a wisdom saving throw against your Warlock spell save. On a failed save, it becomes wrapped in green tape for 1 minute or until your concentration is broken, as if you're concentrating on a spell. The creature may repeat the save at the end of each of its turns. While wrapped in green tape, it becomes subject to one of the following effects of your choice. The effects are apathetic. The creature makes its first attack each turn with disadvantage. Speed limit. The creature's speed is reduced by 5 times 1d6 feet, rolled at the beginning of each of its turns. Or postal. The creature becomes hostile toward one creature of your choice. And once you use this feature, you cannot use it again until you finish a short or long. Yeah, that's basically the gist we were going for. That's what we came up with. A lot of these ideas are things that we talked about last week, and we have refined and tweaked a little bit to make a little difference. So the first thing is, how does this compare to the Archfey, which is kind of our jumping off point? And rather than a bunch of creatures, it's one creature. Rather than only for one turn, it's up to a minute, but you have concentration.
Oh, yeah, with concentration, yes.
And the creature repeats the save. So that's kind of how we made it weaker while still being able to make its effect more potent. And the effects are pretty good. Disadvantage on one attack, on the first attack each turn. That's very much like the Frightened condition, which, as we see up here, you have disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls. Cool. So disadvantage on attacks fits perfectly fine. Maybe that needs to be all attacks. Maybe that's just one attack. Who knows? The fact that it can go on multiple turns might make it much more impactful. And against certain creatures, it's much more impactful. Speed limit, I just thought was great. I was really excited about this. Reducing its speed by a random type determined each turn.
I think that breathes a lot of life into the ability, so it doesn't feel like too brutal. Because I can imagine being, like, for example, you use speed limit on, say, your gelatinous cube, and that thing's probably never going to move. But as a DM, it's a lot less kind of like hurtful of a feeling ability if
Yeah.
there's a chance, if there's that chance that maybe it's only 5 feet and maybe the creature can still do something. It seems very fun.
And we went with the reduced speed just for that reason. Against creatures that are already slow, this is going to be very impactful. So, like the gelatinous ooze can move 20 feet around. This could reduce its speed to 0 on 4 out of 6 rolls. That's really good. I'm sorry, not 4 out of 6. 3 out of 6. 4, 5, and 6 reduce the speed to 0. Super impactful. Versus like a dragon. The dragon flies through the air at 80 feet per round. Well,
Yeah, so it's not as big a deal.
A lot, but not quite as huge. And that's why, because of these choices, we wanted that to be more of an option. And of course, postal, going from the old adage, going postal, the reference to crazy post office workers, tying back into our postal service joke earlier. Maybe it's in bad taste. Let me know if you think it is. This was my idea. I take full credit for it. Well,
one thing I was actually going to finish around postal first.
I was just going to say it's a cool little way of having this little minor mind influence, right? Against a single creature, this effect isn't going to be any different. However, against 2 creatures, it's super good, and against more, even better. So a cool way of having that minor mind influence without going off the deep.
And I think it also it doesn't force them to attack, it makes them hostile. So maybe if you're using it against a dragon, it doesn't force the dragon to take all of its turn, hurting its allies. Maybe it just changes its breath weapon so that it catches a few of those kobolds in the so that catches a few of those kobolds in it as well, or one particular one.
Precisely. We wanted it to be something we got that minor mind influence, especially in situations where you're up against 2 enemies. Really effective ability. Really cool. But not necessarily overpowered by it.
Yes. And of course it recharges on a short or long rest, which is just the same as the Fey Presence.
It's standard.
Once per short rest, standard for that kind of thing. So a comment I wanted to make before.
Oh, please hit me.
I think in terms of just, I know we're not going to workshop these too much right now, and I might do some more stuff later on, but how would you feel about just to kind of unify the flavor on the 3 kind of sub-abilities? How would you feel about making them all kind of those emotions? Instead of speed limit, maybe boredom. And instead of that postal, cool. Maybe confusion, or something like that, just so it feels kind of, so they all feel really connected. Cool. And
at the same time, maybe we could go the other way, right? Instead of unifying them that way, we could unify it in terms of the different branches. But I like your ideas, I think, with apathy, boredom, and confusion.
Oh, it came out as ABC, too.
ABC.
That made me really happy. Actually,
that's it.
It made me genuinely really happy.
Hey, Mr. Plunderlit, welcome to the stream.
Oh, what's up, Plunder?
Friend. Playing some Mage the Awakening, I hear. Should be a crazy game. It's a little too
from what I've heard,
free balling for me. But anywho, we really like this ability. We think we've cut down, we've cut down quite a bit on the complexity that we had in our first draft last week that we made on the stream. So let us know how you guys feel, and we can probably post some of this stuff for discussion after. We'll figure out how that'll precisely roll. What if there's a way to allow people to comment without edit? Well, but anyway, that was our level 1 feature. We're going to jump now to our favorite level 6 feature. The level 6 features for the Warlock tend to be almost universally defensive. No matter what they do, they always have a very defensive core, even if they have an offensive bit added on. So, for example, the Archfey, their ability called Misty Escape, lets them teleport out of danger and turn invisible until the start of their turn. So once they've taken damage, they get to teleport away, which is awesome. Teleporting is just cool, very powerful, very impactful, just good. And then they remain invisible, so it's really hard for our creatures to keep attacking them once they've been hit that first. Great feature. Dark One's Own Luck for the Fiend is a very similar kind of idea. When you fail, and when you make an ability check or saving, keyword is make, you can decide to add a D10 to your roll. And you can do that after you see what you've rolled first, but not before you know the result. It's a weird stipulation they have there because a lot of DMs jump the gun and they see what you rolled and say what they do. I feel like that's more prevalent on Roll20 than necessarily in a home game. But anyway, it's a very simple ability. When you roll a thing and you think you did bad, you get to add a d10 to the roll. You probably.
Nice. And then it's cool. It's kind of it's bardy. And it's very fitting. The Devil's Luck. It's very on brand. I love the name for Dark One's Unluck.
And Tropic Ward, we're actually going to talk about that one because normally we haven't been talking about the Great Old One too much. But basically, when a creature attacks you, you can give it disadvantage in the attack. If it misses you, then you get advantage in your attack against it. Kind of breaks the curve a little bit because now you're getting advantage where the other abilities cannot give you advantage in your attacks or help you offensively. But it's just a cool ability. Makes it more likely for you to not be hit.
Yeah, and by the same vein, also you have to considering it as a whole, that kind of a change in the curve. The Great One did not get any kind of major impactful offensive ability in the first level. So
exactly. So that's important to note that is a little bit high.
Yeah.
So moving on to what we came up with for the Green Sun, we had talked about last week an idea called authorized personnel. And I think the original concept we were going for, like Pete was saying earlier, was that the Green Sun, because of their authorization that people acknowledge, right? These are the municipal workers throughout the land of DnDTime. They're recognized as belonging where they are. They can go where they want. We thought about that, and we ended up going with something a little different that still fit this kind of authorization and order side of. Pete, you want to talk about it?
Yeah, sure. I'll take the lead on this one. To just read the text to begin with, you enforce an area of authorization in response to unscheduled danger. When a creature moves within 5 feet of you, you can use your reaction to create an area of extreme discomfort within a 5-foot radius centered on you. Hostile creatures within the area suffer the effects of the Bane spell, and the area persists until the end of your next turn. You may use this ability even if surprised by the triggering creature.
So before we jump into that, thank you for the follow, my friend Pando the Hobbit.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to DnDTime. And beside that, we really like this feature. So the key concepts, again, I've highlighted in yellow where we really wanted to hit the feel, which is area of authorization. Is like you have authorized, you do not authorize the people to be where they are. Kind of fit in both on that bureaucratic kind of level and the control law kind of.
And unscheduled danger is a phrase that I really love. That was a thing that Jeremy, as a thing that Jeremy made up there. But it also, on the same regard, feels very much along that vein. That it implies that they actually. The thing I love about it is that it implies that there is a lot of scheduled danger that the Green Sun, that the Green Sun's going to be getting into.
And actually, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I was going to say, and it also fits the effect of the ability in that one of the core kind of things about this ability is that it doesn't, you cannot use this ability kind of aggressively. You cannot move into range with someone and expect this to work. This only works when you are specifically pursued, if a creature takes the initiative to move towards you.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things I really liked about it is unscheduled danger, right? It's this reaction ability. And I thought that one of the things that we put on here, stipulation at the very end, the last sentence, is you can use this ability even if you are surprised by the triggering creature. It's almost like the trigger, the feel we were going for with this isn't that the creature moving in is what's triggering this effect, so much as like the fact that the creature was not scheduled to be here is what, the creature couldn't be here other times, but it wasn't scheduled to be here right now. Anyway, it's almost the surprise is almost.
It's fun. It's fun.
But we really like this feature. I think this really does a great job of riding the line between too powerful and not powerful enough. One of the features of this ability that we considered originally, we talk about hostile creatures within the area suffer the effect.
Mm-hmm.
one of the things I was originally considering was creatures within the area. Because one of the things we talked about before, right, is that the Green Sun Warlock might suffer some of the similar effects. But it really didn't make a lot of sense that the Green Sun Warlock would not be authorized to be in the area that they authorize.
Yeah.
So that was weird.
Also, there's the potential downside of affecting your allies with it, which makes you don't want to build something that's unfun to play with.
Well, plus it's the idea, right, that you've authorized your allies to be there, presumably.
Yeah, in theory.
That's why they're allies. But yeah, we really like this. It really rides that line between too much and not enough. Bane spell, for those not familiar, gives an enemy a minus 1d4 to their next attack rolls, to all their attack rolls. And that does a really good job of kind of hitting on that disadvantage mark that the Entropic War hits on. And yeah, it's just a good, like, maybe
it has that kind of conditional. It has that kind of conditional aspect with it, where it only works with melee attacks within 5 feet.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And it's all creature. It doesn't matter if they're attacking you or an enemy. If they're within 5 feet of you, it still impacts. So that's important. I also want to note, and this might not be what we want, but technically the way this is written right now is if an ally moves within 5 feet of you, a creature moves within 5 feet of you. So you can trigger its ability.
You
so
can
I don't know
use.
If that's what we want to do.
I think that is. I think that's okay because it doesn't necessarily affect them because in theory they're not hostile to you.
Yeah, but the ally is still moving within 5 feet and triggering the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Technically, rules is written right now. We might need to tune it up a little bit because we don't.
Maybe
want
we could
allies to be affected.
could just put when a hostile creature moves within 5 feet of you.
Actually, it's funny. We got the stream chat here doesn't show it on OBS or on the show, but our little spectator bot tells us when the last TPKs were. If people type in the commands !TPK and !T Jeremy K. Which it's we got Bionic Shiba pointing out Sugar Mama just really not having that much luck being involved in both of the only TPKs so far in D&D time.
Oh jeez.
Hey Max, how you doing, buddy?
What's going on, Max?
But anyway, this is what we've got so far for the Otherworldly Patron feature 6th level. We're pretty happy with this so far, but if you think that maybe there are some better feels we're going for, let us know. Let's jump on to level 10 ability?
Yeah, level 10. All of the level 10 features that they have here, all of them are defensive as well. Specifically, they are nichely defensive. They are defensive against a very particular type of effect. So to start with Archfey, you have Beguiling Defenses. Your patron teaches you how to turn the mind-affecting magic of your enemies against them. You're immune to being charmed, and when another creature attempts to charm you, use your reaction to attempt to charm that creature back. For kind of Fiendish Resilience, you gain 1 damage type resistance when you... you gain 1 damage type resistance that you can choose when you finish a short or long rest. Which is ignored, of course, by damage from magical weapons or silver weapons, which is just kind of a lore flavor thing. I actually kind of like that they put that in just for the flavor of the silvered weapons, because I think that those should be a slightly bigger deal in D&D. We've talked about that before, Jeremy.
Yes, I also really like silver weapons.
And then there's Thought Shield. Your thoughts can't be read by telepathy or other means unless you allow it. And you have resistance to specifically psychic damage. And whenever a creature deals psychic damage to you, that creature takes the same amount of damage that you do. So all these effects are very, very powerful against the one kind of specific thing.
And because of the nature of D&D time, we did not want to go that much.
Yes.
That is a choice that we made. We are completely aware of the niche nature of these abilities. And so we willingly and knowingly took a step away from it. We focused more on the Fiendish Resilience feature as our jumping off for how we wanted to have this effect work. So Fiendish Resilience, like Pete said, you get a resistance to a damage. Assuming you have some idea of where you are when you finish your short rest, you probably do. You know, you're in like the hells or wherever. You can pick a resistance that'll probably help you. So let's say you're in the hells, you pick fire resistance. That fire resistance, it's gonna do a lot to help, but there's gonna be a lot of attacks that don't do fire, that do like slashing or bludgeoning. And we guesstimated, this is a guesstimate, that maybe 25 to 35%, you know, between 2/3 and 1/4. I'm sorry, 1/3 and 1/4 of the damage you're going to take is going to be that damage type. So from there, we wanted to really look at how we're going to take this next ability, which is Take a Number. Take a Number is such a cool name. I forget who said that. We need to start like taking notes as to who brainstormed.
That's a good idea for the future. We'll remember that next time. It might have been Plunder.
It was.
I don't know if it was. Plunder had one of the ones.
Was it Scotty or Dandere? I don't remember. It was someone came up with this awesome name, Take a Number.
If it was you, shout out. Let us know.
But yeah, we figured this would be a more limited kind of resistance ability and a kind of forestalling of the inevitable. So the ability reads, your otherworldly power allows you to bend the laws of reality, forestalling the inevitable. The first time that you take damage on each round, you may cause a slip of paper to appear on your person, bearing an inscrutable magical symbol, and you roll a d4. On a roll of 1, the damage occurs instantaneously. On a roll of 2 to 3, the damage occurs at the end of your next turn. On a roll of 4, the damage occurs at the end of your next turn, and you gain resistance to the... we really like this idea of the damage occurring later on. We thought
it's a very cool
really
mechanic.
Super, cool mechanic, maybe a little complicated. That's why it only works once a turn.
Yep.
Cool mechanic, cool flavor, right? Take a number, super. Anyone who's ever been to like Department of Motor Vehicles in the United States or something like that, this awful, take a number, wait your turn.
Anytime you've ever been to the deli.
Yeah, or the deli, I guess.
That's what I always think of for that.
Super appropriate, super applicable.
And this was a mechanic that we had kind of talked about a little bit before, this idea of delaying things. Originally, we were kind of talking about the idea of putting like delaying spells, like casting spells into the future by delaying them like 2 or 3 turns for the Take a Number feature. And it was a way to kind of like get extra spells, but it had the potential to... It was very convoluted. And this is I think a lot cleaner.
Yeah, and it also fits the defensive theme that all these other abilities kind of have. One of the things that I really like about this ability personally, this has the potential to totally screw you over. Suddenly, this happens, right? Because the first time on each turn, or each round, sorry. So you take a number with your first damage, then on the next turn, you get bludgeoned into oblivion and fall unconscious. And then you take that damage that you didn't take the first round. You know, it really has the feature to hurt, the potential to hurt you. That's why there's you do not have to do this. But
there's also kind of like the nice caveat of that it's the first time that you take damage, so it's a thing that can be played around, for example, by very intelligent enemies, or it doesn't. It doesn't give the player as much control, so you can't like be like, well, I'm going to save it for that big to go back to my classic. This is a powerful attack, Dragon's Breath. I'm going to save it for that. So you have to use it on whatever you get hit by first.
And an important other note here: this does not take a reaction to you. That was a very important choice we made, especially because our level 6 feature does take your. So we wanted to make sure we weren't stepping on our same action economy toes. Nothing would suck more than the creature moves into your space. You use your level 6 feature to give it the minus, D4 to its roll. It crits, and then you die because you can't use your other.
Use the nuke. Yeah, they nuke you.
Anyway, we thought this was a really cool feature. About 25% of the damage you take is going to be halved. A little less impactful than the Fiendish Resilience we guessed on average, but there's a caveat that it happens later. It's delayed, which has its own benefits and drawbacks. So we thought this was a cool feature to play around, and it'd be really neat.
Yeah, agreed.
And shit, that's it.
Yeah,
no, it's not. I'm sorry.
Well, no,
we got a level 14 feature.
14th level.
Goodness. I
The
forgot
feature
about
that
the
we'll-
capstone.
A feature we'll likely never see in D&D time, however. Still, we gotta make a capstone.
We will.
I mean, maybe someday.
That'd be really weird. Anyway.
That'd be crazy to see a 14th level character.
Kurogan, the Green Sun Patron Warlock.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of my thought. Like, I feel like the characters that are 14th level, that are going to be 14th level, already exist.
Oh, roll back for a second, guys. We gotta talk more about that level 10 feature. Bionic Sheba, can I delay damage that was already delayed if I didn't take damage that round?
Oh, shit.
Rules is written, you absolutely can.
Yes, the answer is definitely yes.
Yeah, rules is written. We might adjust that, but I don't think we will. That's all.
Yeah.
I love that. It's just
That's
little
wicked
bits
funny.
of paper just falling out of the sky.
Oh man. And the way it ends up working is because it's once per round. It happens at the end of the turn. So it's the new round when you take the damage. So then the feature only functions to hold that damage for a really long time. If you keep kind of rolling well enough.
Until you roll
a one. Yeah.
Walks home, bursts into flames randomly at the tavern.
Which is also interesting because that actually makes it pretty much the only way it works after the first time you take it.
Well, no, because if you take damage before, because on your turn that you would take the damage. So if you take damage before your turn in a round. It's the initiative order, Pete. Come on.
Wait, no. I think I'm right. Because after you take damage the first time. You get hit by a sword, you take 8 damage. You delay it a turn. Now it gets around, the round goes through, it gets to your turn. At the end of your turn, you would take that damage, but that's the first damage for the new round, so you would roll for it.
Well, not unless if no creature does damage to you before your turn, then yes, that's correct.
But they would already have dealt you damage in that round, so it couldn't happen again that round.
No, that was last round.
But it would be the beginning of the new round. Oh, so you're defining round. I always think of round as defined
round
by
is the top of the initiative.
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
There is a definition.
Is that an official term? I thought round was just a thing that you're saying to like define one rotation.
We might need to clear up our wording here. We'll have to double check that.
Okay, either way.
Moving on. You get the gist of what we're going for.
Semantics. I don't know. It's just a funny thought there.
Level 14. The capstone that I neglected to mention existed.
I was wondering you didn't say that before.
All classes.
About Hurl Through Hell?
Well, I was going to say, all classes get a capstone feature. It's their highest level feature. Usually it's the most powerful feature. It normally has cool, kind of extra dimensional, super powerful, ultra planar, cool stuff, right? It breaks reality in some degree in a cool way. Subclasses also have a capstone, and depending on the class, the capstone of the subclass will be better or less powerful than the regular one. So for the Warlock, their subclass capstones are really powerful and really cool. We're not going to talk about Dark Delirium. It's another capstone feature that is another feature that is wildly misunderstood, I believe, by a lot of people who play D&D. So we can talk more about that another time. But I think we got to talk through Hurl Through Hell.
It's so cool. You want to take it, Jeremy?
Yeah. Absolutely. Hurl Through Hell is the Pact of the Patron Fiend capstone, and you get this level 14. And it says, when you hit a creature with an attack, you can use this feature to instantly transport the creature through the lower plane. This creature disappears and hurtles through a nightmare landscape. At the end of your next turn, the creature returns to its space it previously occupied, or the nearest unoccupied space. If the target's not a fiend, it takes 10d10 psychic damage that reels from its horrific experience. You can only feature once per long rest. Holy shit, that's cool. It's
so rad.
It is just,
and it And the kind of thing that really breathes life into Hurl Through Hell is that is when you hit a creature with an attack, so you never like go Hurl Through Hell and they succeed on a save and then nothing happens. You always get to, you never waste Hurl Through Hell.
Yeah, it is an awesome ability. The worst feeling in the game is when you have your sick capstone feature and you're like, I use my cool ability. And the enemy's like, I use legendary resistance. It doesn't hurt me. So
yes,
this feature totally cuts through legendary resistance. It doesn't affect it at all. It's just awesome. We love this. Unless you use this on a great old one, Warlock, and then you take the 10th psychic damage. But that's a different story. So, Pete, the ability we went with, name pending.
Yes.
Is called Sign in Triplicate. Do you want
me to take it?
This one? Yeah, I was going to say, you let me take Hurl Through Hell, Pete. I got to let you take it up.
I love Hurl Through Hell. So Sign in Triplicate. As an action, you can use this feature to instantly teleport a creature of your choice into and back from an extratemporal Green Sun standardized testing facility, where they are forced to undergo a series of 3 arduous tests. First, the standard aptitude test. The creature must succeed on a strength or dexterity saving throw, the creature's choice, against your Warlock spell save DC, or suffer 2 levels of exhaustion. Next, the standard literacy test. The creature must succeed on an intelligence saving throw against your Warlock spell save DC or become stunned until the end of its next turn. Or the standard cognizance test. The creature must succeed on a wisdom saving throw against your Warlock spell save DC or become blinded. A creature may repeat this save at the end of each of its turns. Once you use this feature, you cannot use it again until you finish a long rest.
Before we talk more about this, Ian Grim9, thank you so much for your support.
Oh, man. Thank you so much.
You are the best. This is a heart
Ian
symbol.
Grim, indeed. I also will do a heart symbol.
Pete, your heart symbol looks real bad.
I've copied your heart symbol. It looks good from my angle. It might be weird.
Oh, that looks better there. You got to hold it up to the webcam. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Ian Grim.
We really appreciate the support. Thank you much, man. But back to Sign in Triplicate. This feature, the name isn't as fitting anymore, but the ability is pretty fun. I really like this feature.
It's cool.
I think it super fits with the Green Sun, standardized testing, extratemporal facilities. The idea is the creature instantly teleports there and is instantly teleported back. However, in that instant, however long, an enormous amount of time has passed.
The person goes through a journey for a while there.
A very difficult series of tests. One of the things that to standardize testing, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, it's not bad. I think that's definitely better than what we have.
One of the things I really liked about this is it fits that really kind of it fits that goofy feel, right? The reason we didn't go with the great old one, it's a little silly. We like that. The whole standardized testing, no one likes standardized testing. I mean, don't get me wrong, useful, but not fun. No one wants to do standardized tests.
And it's something that the Green Sun has a history of doing, too, is making people take kind of arbitrary tests.
Yes, exactly. Something that's come up in DnDTime episodes. So we really liked that, and we wanted to roll with that a little bit. Looking at the different abilities here, we went with strength, intelligence, and wisdom saves. They're 3, or strength, dexterity, intelligence, wisdom. The ones we didn't touch were constitution and charisma. We just didn't really think it was necessary to go that far.
Yeah.
And all of these effects are pretty impactful. Stun, pretty impactful. Blind, pretty impactful. And exhaustion. 2 levels of exhaustion. Whoa. What that does, for those unfamiliar, 2 levels of exhaustion will give a character disadvantage in all ability checks they make, which for most monsters is not super important. If they're being grappled or grappling, that's important. Or if the environment and terrain requires them to make ability checks, it's important, but usually that won't matter. The second level of exhaustion halves their speed. That is super impactful, especially when you combine it with the green tape. We really like that these features kind of stack on each other a little bit, and that none of the other features besides the green tape take up your concentration. So we felt that was a super impactful ability or super impactful part which is why we gave the creature the choice of 2 saves.
And as Jeremy was speaking about, okay, no, go ahead. I was gonna say, as Jeremy was speaking out before, with the fiend kind of hurl through hell, when you hit a creature with an attack, that kind of lets you get around those legendary resistances. This also lets you get around those legendary resistances because they would have to resist all 3 parts with legendary resistances if they want to, which most big bad guys can't afford to do. And it hits on kind of 3 different levels. Yeah, if they do, then, whoa, you've just burned all the legendary resistances, and it kind of sucks that your thing didn't get to do anything, but it did more than you'll ever be able to. It did so much.
Yeah, it destroyed the enemy.
Yes. And there's 3 kind of different paces here, which is also cool. There's the second one is the stun effect, which is just a 1-round effect. There's the kind of save ends blind effect, and then there's a standard aptitude test, which has that long-term exhaustion. It's this kind of dragged out effect. And so there's different kind of implications to which one that they succeed and fail on, and if they're going to use a legendary resistance, because that's the territory you're in at 14th level, they probably use it against the exhaustion, but they still have these other 2 effects that happen, assuming they fail the saves.
Mm-hmm. Now, one of the things that we were kind of talking about here, or thinking about rather, is the fact that this is a little complicated. One of the things last week we were talking about, especially regarding our level 1 ability, was it was way too complicated.
Yeah, it was very
going on. We pared it down this week to a much more manageable amount. Still a little complicated, but much less so. This is pretty complicated. There's a lot of random stuff going on. We got 3 different abilities. We could have easily just said, takes 3 tests, rolls 3 saves, and gets a stacking effect for each fail. But we thought this was a lot more flavorful, and we're okay with it being a little more complicated. This is a level 14 feature. You know, if you get this, you've been playing this character for 13 levels, presumably. You know what you're getting into with this. You have some high-level spells that do some crazy stuff. So we really weren't worried with having it be a little. In terms of the impactfulness, comparing directly to Fiend again, Fiend 10d10 psychic damage. There are very few monsters that have resistance to psychic damage. Almost none. Very, very few. I don't have the number off my top of my head, but it's not a lot. So that's basically just 10d10 damage, which averages to 5.5 on a d10 times 10, so about 55 points. It's a ton of damage. Really big. We needed to make something with this feature that would feel almost as impactful. Having speed is huge. That prevents creatures from being able to get to you and get to your allies, therefore saving your allies from being attacked. That in its own right is just really big. Looking at standard literacy test, the stun effect. Stun is a really good ability. What it does is it gives your allies advantage on attack rolls against the creature, and the creature can't make its attack. By 14th level, a creature is getting about, is probably going to be getting around 100 damage around. So right there, that is monstrous.
Yeah.
Preventing damage. And of course, the third ability, Blinded, is going to give a creature disadvantage on attacks and give your allies
and everyone else advantage. Yes.
So once again, your allies are doing more damage. It is less likely to hit and deal damage. The reason we thought this was okay, as opposed to obviously we just compared it and we said, wow, this prevents 100 damage while Hurl Through Hell does 100 or does only 55. Is Hurl Through Hell automatically works, all of it happens.
Yeah.
Always.
Additionally, as an effect that we didn't mention about Hurl Through Hell, they're gone for a turn and they reappear at the end of your turn, which means everyone gets to, while they're gone, take a round to know where they're going to come back to, and ready an action to all hit them at the time that they reappear. So there's a whole other action economy of this extra damage that ends up getting kind of piled onto it.
Yeah, exactly.
Assuming there's not other major threats on the battlefield that people have to deal with.
And if there are other major threats, it still gives you that moment.
Yeah, then have that time to not deal with the one that you've cast on, which is presumably the biggest thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, that alone is, even if, for example, it says in Hurl Through Hell, if the target is not a fiend, it takes a damage. Well, even if they are a fiend, it's still worth casting Hurl Through Hell to give you
still a whole round where they're gone.
Still good. So we thought that this would be fine. At its worst case scenario, it burns a lot of legendary resistances. At its best case scenario, it's super impactful and really knocks a creature down a peg. We thought it was just cool, and it's kind of different tiers of effect were nice.
Yeah, it's got that kind of nice. It could be either really brutal or it does something. Probably at least. Probably. I mean, there's also that rare niche case.
Yeah, I mean, if the creature rolls 3 20s and all it saves, well, shit.
What you going to do?
You can't do nothing about that.
That's the game.
But,
that's the game.
That's everything. That wasn't too bad. I hope y'all like what we're seeing, or if you don't, please let us know. We're gonna have to come up with a good way to get feedback for this kind of stuff. Maybe like opening up the Google Docs and allowing notes is a good strategy. Maybe there's a place we can post them. We'll probably think about that over the course of the next week. But yeah, we should definitely try and get this up for people to comment on directly. I completely agree. I think it's going to be really fun. And without further ado, our next topic tonight, I think we're going to jump to, is brainstorming. What we're going to do next, right? Yeah. Brainstorming playable races for D&D time. But before we do that, I was going to say that. Can we take a break first? I was going to say, yeah. Let's refresh our drinks. We'll be right back in, I think it's just about 4 minutes. So we'll see you all soon. All right, we will be just a moment. Goodbye. Welcome back to another fantastic episode of DnDTime Brews. Wait, this isn't the beginning, this is the middle. Hello, everyone, welcome back.
I'm Pete.
I'm still Jeremy. And
welcome
I
back.
have a delicious and nutritious Coca-Cola diet.
I have
not have any rum in it this time.
I have a Corona.
I am what
That's
some
what I
might
have.
some might call a lightweight, so I'm gonna just drink a Coca-Cola.
I'm just like I've been drinking all day, so I just kind of want to like maintain that little bit of alcohol, so I don't, so I can just crash when we're done. You know,
you don't want to be a disaster. You want to just be a
yeah. I just want to be kind of nice and even.
So, how are you doing, Pete? You still doing good? I'm doing pretty good.
I'm doing good too. Yeah, I'm good.
How are you doing in chat, everybody? I know Bionic Sheba's still hanging out, chatting. It's always good. Not the most exciting chat tonight. Not a ton of chatting, but you know what? That's all good. Hopefully, we'll drum up a little bit of action here with the race.
We're gonna be I was gonna say we're gonna be calling upon you now to discuss some races with us.
So yeah, let's start talking about what kind of ideas. So basically, in terms of racial options here in D&D, races are one of the coolest ways to make your character really feel unique, and to feel like what you want. Like a lot of people come into games like this. Yeah, Maxmeister, we're making races. We're playing God here.
Making races, like making copies that. You know that old reference? Yeah.
No, I don't actually. Pete,
oh wait, really? I was just joking about. Never mind. I apologize. I assumed that making copies was absolutely universal and that everyone knew what that was.
I don't.
Oh wow, it's an old SNL sketch. Anyway, please continue.
Anywho, yeah, with racial options, they're one of the coolest ways to really make the character you want. A lot of people come into role-playing games, whether it's Dungeons and Dragons or Numenera or whatever tabletop role-playing game they're playing, and they have an idea for the character they want to play already. We've talked about how that's not always the best way to go about it in one of our DnDTime Talk episodes, but you know what? That's fine. If that's how you feel, sure, that's fine. We can roll with that. We understand that sometimes you have a very strong idea of what you want to do. And a lot of the time that hinges on a race, whether it be like a werewolf person or a bunny people or what have you. A bunny people? Oh boy. A bunny person or what have you. It's the kind of thing that there's not always a lot of great surrogates in D&D. Very limited race selection. So yeah, races are actually really cool and they're not that hard to really put together. I think today, Pete, and correct me if I'm wrong, we really just want to brainstorm ideas. We want to talk to people, figure out what they're looking for different races, maybe like some core concepts of them. And yeah, what were you gonna say, Pete?
I was gonna say that was pretty much it. I was going to say talk about some different ideas people have for races they would want to play in D&D time. And again, a reminder: these are things that y'all would maybe be playing. So stuff that you really want to do. And then maybe we can ask people about what they'd want to see those races be able to do.
Yeah, and actually
once we kind of got a list like paired out a bit.
Yeah, and I got some cool stuff in chat too, where the bunny people eat the plant people. Oh boy. I mean, those kind of like tidbits could be really cool too, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Anthropomorphic spider people. Oh boy. Cool. So a couple of things we're going to be talking about are maybe names. So obviously the general idea of what the creature is, what the race is. Then maybe like the name for them, some basic lore behind them, what they like to do, who they do like, who they don't like, etc. And then maybe some cool abilities, like a bunny person probably has a jumping ability. And brainstorming the very basics, I think, right now. We'll worry a little bit more on mechanics probably later. Because I think, Pete, correct me if I'm wrong, you got some cool tools to use to actually put together.
Oh, yes. That is absolutely true. I got to remember to go over that with you at some point. But yeah, a long time ago when I was But yeah, a long time ago when I was homebrewing a rewrite of the player's handbook for sci-fi games, which if you ever want to talk to me about that, not on stream because I would go forever. If you want to talk to me about my homebrew sci-fi player's handbook, please let me know. But I had kind of developed this system using the kind of the known features that are already defined races, and kind of went through all of the races and tried my best to math out what the value of each feature was, kind of on the assumption that races were relatively balanced with a few exceptions. And so I kind of have a bit of a system where you can like buy features using points. It's not perfect, but it's a pretty good way to like start building a race, and then you can kind of fine tune it compared to other ones from there.
Exact. I'm just updating some headings here so we can easily kind of roll. So we have.
So we got tons of stuff coming in. I'm just going to start writing it down so we don't lose track of it.
Yeah, let's start writing stuff down. Race names. Let's see, or descriptions. You know what? I'm just going to start writing.
We got bunnies.
Yeah, bunny people.
Yeah. All right. You take the lead.
You take the chat. I'll do the typing.
All right. We got bunny people. We got plant people.
Plant people.
We got Psychopath says math gnomes, trigonomes, and math goblins. You can just probably throw them both down there.
Can people play as math goblins? Ooh.
I mean, I don't see why not.
Interesting. What else we got coming in?
We got Max Meixer saying Bullywug, playable Bullywug.
Bullywug. Sweet. I think along with that, we might want the grung in there because grung are cool. I know there is absolutely a playable grung already. Maybe we'll just use that. We'll see.
We got
spider people. I love this.
Yes, actually, that was a thing that I wanted to recommend too. Just personally, that was actually one of the things I most wanted to homebrew, because I have a race. They're called the entothropes, insect hybrids. So I think the anthropomorphic spider people could fit right in with that. Maybe we could do like a general entothrope and then like a sub race for different insects. Yeah.
I dig that. I'm putting the GIF on there from Morden Cannons, Tomo Foes. They're the anthropomorphic hippo people with guns.
Yes,
going on there.
Indeed.
No questions asked. Dwarf Forge. Dwarf made sentient construct. Huh. I think that's cool.
We got rock apes.
And
then we got
rock apes. You're saying with an like ROCK? Okay. Rock apes. I dig it. Are those like elementals?
Yeah, I'm not sure. What, Ingrid, if you could specify what you mean by rock apes, would they be like gorillas that are made of rocks? Is what I pictured. It was just
sweet.
We got Psychopath, Dreamwalkers. Dreamwalkers, I think we might do Dreamwalkers as a monk subclass at some point.
But
although
dude,
maybe there's like a Dreamwalker race. Yeah, throw it on the list.
The Imagined. Super cool.
The Imagined. Oh yeah, that is very cool. Oh hells yeah, I'm so into that. And it's also
maybe they're like they're like our
the
changeling, right? Maybe.
Yeah, I'm really into that. That's awesome. Yeah, that's sick. I'm really excited about the idea of making a dream race that's just whatever you look like, whatever kind of dumb thing someone dreamed you to be.
I'm super into this.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool.
Candy Mountain people. Candy people from the Candy Mountain.
Candy people.
What would we do with the candy?
I feel like they would just be people made of candy. Yeah. I feel like they'd just be like, peppermint dudes.
All right.
Nice chocolate Charlie. Hey, we throw it on the list at least.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Oh yes.
I'm just wondering if they had, Bionic Chiba suggested that. I was wondering if you had anything in particular in mind. Race of Hollow.
Oh wait, that's a reminder from Reflected 10.8. That's something that I also really wanted to make was Mort, half Mort. A full Mort means that you would be working for the Morts and you would no longer have agency. But half Mort, someone who has like all the physical characteristics of a Mort, but retains their own.
Mort?
Yeah, retains their own, free will and sentience.
Candy. Oh my god, I'm so into this. Thinking from Adventure Time. I'm not familiar with Adventure Time, actually. Peter, are there candy people in Adventure Time?
There are absolutely candy people in Adventure Time. That's what I was saying. When I was saying Peppermint Man, I was literally thinking of a character from Adventure Time called Peppermint Butler.
Okay. I'm gonna have to look at that.
But yeah, Lance, we were on the same wavelength there. That's what I really wanted to do.
Sorry, everyone. Let's see. Candy people. You know what else would be cool besides just gingerbread men? I don't know. I think that'd be cool. Maybe a sub-race of candy people.
Oh, yeah. I'm into that for sure. Gingerbread man.
Let's see. What else we got? This
Any
is
other...
become a disaster of notes, but I'm super into it anyway.
Pure Mort is a monstrous race. That's very good. It's very good, Max.
Max, we can't give you a point of inspiration, but if we could, I'd give you a point of inspiration right now.
It's a very good joke. What else? Anything in the trash? Not really any defining races in the Trash Kingdom. I'm trying to think for my own memory now. Sacred Veil. I don't think there's anything that's really like defining. We want to do Sea Elves.
Sea Elves are actually in Morden Cannons' Tome of Foes.
Oh, damn! I have not looked at it yet, so I did not know this.
It's easy to miss them. They get like a paragraph as an afterthought at the end of some other thing. It's really disappointing.
Maybe we can do them right or something. Trash Warforged. Trash Forged.
Oh!
Trash Forged is very funny. I like that as well.
A race based purely on the descendant. We'll see.
Like when you guys are some of these races that you guys are putting in makes me want to like start work like Trash Forged. I absolutely want to make a Trash Forged adventure for sure.
Oh, certainly. See, this is great, right? You're helping us.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Prince Gumball. Shit, there was something hitting me. I had a really cool idea, I think, but it's gone now because I'm bad.
Is there anything?
Oh yeah,
the one I'm really interested in, Jeremy. The Imagine has got me so excited.
Oh, just the name is sick.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
really
amazing.
Cool is in 4th edition. Hijacking the conversation here. Continue to free chat and chat. We'll catch it. Don't worry. In 4th edition, they added in as a racial option the Kalashtar, which I knew very, very little about. I didn't know anything about lore because I was a noob at the beginning of 4th edition. And I was like, oh shit, refugees from the dream realm? That's how they were like verbatim described in the book. And I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah, that sounds really rad.
Sounds epic. And like the picture of them, they were just like normal people with colorful eyes. And I was just like, this is still so cool though. I was just super into it. Oh, thank you, Raventail Blacktalon, aquatic dwarves and fish folk.
Oh yeah. Oh, also sky dwarves are a thing too.
Sky dwarves. Oh yes, I'm very excited about that. Aqua trolls. I think trolls are really monstrous. It's really hard to.
Yeah,
what's the problem?
Trolls are big boys.
Yeah, exactly. Trolls hit that point. 5th edition is designed in such a way that half trolls we could definitely. 5th edition is designed in such a way that you cannot have a large creature player character race without changing some fundamental rules and the assumptions of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like a little iffy. Dwarves everywhere.
I'm surprised that Dendari, you haven't recommended this yet, but playable undead.
Oh yeah. What kind of playable undead do we have though? Would this be like a variant option for any race?
I think maybe. I mean, that would be ambitious. Maybe it's just like it's kind of like the way you were talking about the Imagined. It's like moon dwarfs, underwater dwarves, sky dwarves, tree dwarves, lava dwarves. You could do any kind of dwarf.
Dwelf. I like the idea of having dwelfs, half dwarf, half elf.
But yeah, like I was kind of thinking, kind of like the sentient undead in Southtown. That kind of thing. So maybe it could be like you could be any race, but all of them have the same stat block.
Or maybe it's just modifiers for their stat block.
Yeah, maybe there's like a couple of maybe there's some like choice elements to it where you can pick like what your secondary ability bonus is or something like that.
And let's actually just start hitting this right now, because I already know undead resistance or whatever it's called, not die, or con save to not die when they take reduced to 0.
Yep. So we got a kind of a nice little chunk here. Would you want to start going through these and talk about what kind of abilities we want to give them a little bit, and asking people what they want from them, like what people expect of a bunny person?
I think we gotta put Dire Halfling on there. I really want Dire Halfling.
Fairy Dragon Dragonborn sounds sick. Raventail. It sounds really cool.
I am absolutely in on that. Maybe like
Shiva, half orc, half halfling.
Pseudo Dragonborn. What are we gonna call the half orc, half? Orkling.
Orkling, yeah. And the Orkling. I don't want to meet an Orkling.
We'll think about that. A smaller version of a halfling. Orkling. I'm okay with that. I like the idea of small dragonborn. Maybe put that another like pseudo dragonborn. Small drag. We'll put the OL just because it's supposed to be cute. Dragonborn. Dragonborn.
Like this is a feral tabaxi. Might be something there. Also, I think you could, if you want to go feral tabaxi, I think you could just be a feral tabaxi. You could just say you're feral.
Perhaps. Fairy folk. See, here we're getting into an interesting point with super small creatures.
Yes.
Which
I don't know if we could do tiny.
We'll put them on here for now, but I'm not sure how. I'll have to check the rules for how creatures that are smaller than small, because I know there are some drawbacks. Just like how you can't do a large creature, sometimes you can't do smaller. It's a little easier to do smaller creatures, as they don't have the problem of, the dungeon has a 5-foot tall passage. Your troll character can't go in. Yeah,
like the moon men, the tiny moon people.
Moon man.
They're gone. They're all dead.
What else? Well, there I'm on to Orkling. I think. Ooh, I like this. So I'm actually gonna go back to Fairy Dragon Dragonborn.
Half orc, half elf. Maybe there's like a way that we could set up a way to make a half of the basic races. Maybe that's like a thing that we could build completely. Although there would be like,
that'll be real
I'm sure
hard.
there'd be like a ton of interactions that we wouldn't be able to account for, and we'd probably never be able to like make it playable in DnDTime. But maybe there's a way that we could do that just for funsies.
I'm first super cool options here. Dire Fairy. Awesome. But I really like Grimchill Black Talon.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. That's really good.
Candy Gensai. And
Trash and Candy. I like that. I also like the statement, if trash and candy are considered elements, I would say that they are.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong, Raventail. You're saying that the half-orc, half-elf characters in some Dragonlance novel. Yeah, totally. In the Forgotten Realms lore, they make literally no sense, not possible, can't do it. But we're not talking Forgotten Realms, we're talking DnDTime and beyond.
And DnDTime, saying not possible is... it doesn't happen.
With a cool name for the half-orc, half-elf.
Wait, I just almost said a halfling.
I mean, just the name Ogre Tritons sounds sick.
Ogre Tritons.
See, this is exactly what I was hoping for. Just a deluge of cool ideas out of everything. And yeah, so I think basically what Pete and I's plan here is we're going to continue to brainstorm some stuff here, and we're probably gonna stick on this train for a while, get some more ideas, go through and maybe get out some more concepts, like for the Entothropes, maybe a couple more different sub-race options. What kind of abilities people want to see on some of these. And then, yeah, that's all. That we're going to do that. We'll have maybe a straw poll throughout the week or something like that, where y'all tell Pete and I what you want us to maybe refine a little bit.
Kind of pare down some of the ones that were really popular. And
very similarly to the Green Sun, we can come back with like a much cleaner product once, incorporating all these ideas we brainstormed. I will tell you, the getting those abilities together for the Green Sun Warlock was so much easier to just sit down and do off stream without the pressure of like, everyone's watching and I'm looking like an idiot.
Yeah, both of me and Jeremy just long silences of us kind of just staring and thinking.
Anyway, yeah, continue. If you all have more cool ideas, toss them in the chat. Super stoked to see those kind of things. But we're going to start diving in probably to the bunny folk. Let's start looking at some cool ideas folks have. Oh, I have the plant people on there. Cool ideas people have for the bunny folk. So maybe some names first?
Yeah, name idea would be great. I think just starting talking about mechanics, I think we can, without doubt,
maybe the buns. Bunny folk. Bunkins. No, I'm not going to do bunnies. A whole bunch of
jumping, I think, is going to be in there somewhere.
Oh, they got to have a jump ability.
Carrots. Just putting those down there.
Yeah, I might as well put it on there. What else is super like bunnies? Right? Maybe like a burrow speed.
Burrow speed. Maybe something to do with like big front teeth.
Oh, like a chomp?
Yeah, some kind of chomp.
I think bunny folks don't chomp, they chomp.
Advantage.
It's like chomp crunch. I think no, they definitely chomp. I lied.
Yeah, maybe they have an advantage on attacks against carrots with their chomp attack.
I don't think we need to put that on there.
I think it's a little granular. Yeah.
Like some sort of ability to let them hide easier.
Bunkins is a pretty good one, or just Rabbitkin would probably also be pretty strong.
Rabbitkin, not too bad. Humanoid crab folk in there. I think we can put that under the Entothropes. Crab folk. I like the idea of crab folk. Kind of like the Eldani from Tomb of Annihilation. I love the Eldani. I kind of want to put the Eldani on here because they're super cool. Pete doesn't know who the Eldani are.
I don't know who the Eldani are.
I do. And I think they're really freaking cool, Max Meister. Ooh, Crabolite. Let's see. Innate spell, friends. Oh, interesting. I like that idea, Lance. Innate spell, friends, but no hostility. Charm innately. I like that idea of like they're so cute, right?
I'm just gonna put the word Warren there under the burrowings. That's what a rabbit group is called. What's
a lagomorph? I'm not familiar.
Lagomorph, yes, that was the thing I was trying to think of before. Lagomorph. It's like it's a rabbit or a hare.
Is that like an actual word?
Yep.
I wasn't aware. I wasn't familiar with the term lagomorph.
That was the thing I was trying.
Oh wow, you're right. That's an awesome name for it.
Yes, I was. Thank you very much, Lance. I'm sorry. That wasn't Lance. That was Dendari. That was Vassal's Yahweh.
No, that was Card Pocket with Lagomorph. Please, they're definitely going to get a +2 to Dex. I don't think there's any world where we don't give.
Wait, it was Card Pocket. I went even farther back. I messed up double. Card Pocket, James. Thank you.
Let's see. They definitely get a +2 to Dex. But then what else? Do we want sub races for the bunny folk, or is it? Do you think we're cool with just the one?
I think probably one. I imagine that any bunny can kind of be. I'm sorry to kind of be mean to bunny people. I think any bunny could be described by just generally bunny, like a hare or.
I guess we could do something like that. I'm just thinking like dark, cute happy bunny versus like a jackrabbit that's got a cool kick ability. Oh, let's give him a kick ability.
A kick, yep. Psychopath says cast dark vision once a day using a carrot as a material component.
Whoa.
That's funny. I think dark vision is something that we might want to put on there.
They'll definitely have dark vision. They got it.
Hearing is probably a thing.
Do they have?
I don't know. I don't know if they have good hearing. They just have really big ears, so I think of them as having good hearing.
Okay. Yes,
that's something that we'll look at.
Why not, right? Put it on here and we'll sort through later. Leo Prede. Interesting. Selkie. What are Selkies? I'm not familiar with Selkies.
Selkies.
Oh, my girlfriend got very excited about Selkies, guys.
I love
Rabbits' sense of hearing is their most vital sense. I just googled it.
Creatures?
Maybe a hearing thing. That'd be cool.
Oh, Selkies can turn into seals. Interesting. All right, let's put Selkies down on here somewhere. Selkies can shapeshift. Shapeshifting humanoids turn into seals. That's cool. I super dig that. Oh, what else did we got? Dig speed. Yeah, we got burrow on there. All right, cool. I think we got some good features down for the bunny people right now. Again, continue to, if you got cool ideas, spit them out, but make sure to tag them. Say like, I'm going to put one in chat for now, for example. Cute. Like something like that. That way we know which one you're talking about if you're talking about something that we've kind of moved past.
Yeah. I just slapped on a bunch of different types of entothrope subclasses.
So yeah, let's. They're the leggy boys.
The leggy boys, indeed.
Leggy boys. Anyway,
we're the leggy boys. Well, those were regular ants.
Actually,
those were just weird. Those were just weirdly regular sentient ants.
Boys.
The leggy boys are dead.
No, Pete. The leggy boys are everywhere. All ants are leggy boys.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Deep lore on DnDTime. You've heard it here.
Natural armor because of fur. Maybe.
Yeah.
Armor.
Or like some kind of like, cold resistance or something like that.
Oh, that'd be cool. Cold resistance? I did
cold resistance? Question mark?
All right, let's
talk about plant people a bit.
Let's talk about the plant people. What kind of cool ideas are we looking for here?
We could, for one thing, do maybe some kind of like spell casting suite where they get some of like the classic spells, like a Thorn Whip or a Druid Craft, or.
Before we jump too far, one last thing that we missed about plant people, about the bunnies: eat plant people. I kind of like the idea that the bunnies and the plant people hate each other.
The natural foes, the ancient enemies.
So what about the plant people? Maybe we want subclass.
Yeah, I mean, like, you could be a flower folk, some kind of
Vegapygmies. That is definitely not how you spell Vegapygmies.
Like maybe like a tree folk sapperling or something along those lines.
Yep, that is absolutely not how you spell Vegapygmies. I like. Oh goodness.
Does Google know how to spell it? No.
Yes, it does. So tree.
Oh, really?
Yes, of course. Of course, if Google knows how to spell Vegapygmies.
Food folk, for lack of a better term, some kind of vegetables, fruits.
Vegetable
be a broccoli boy. Be a broccoli boy.
I don't know if we're gonna need that, but we'll see. Oh, carnivorous plants. Oh, brutal. Predatory plants. That might be interesting.
Yep, bonus in sunlight for sure.
Fungal, super sick bionic Sheba. Awesome pickup there.
Fungal seems worthy of its own thing.
Yeah, it almost might. Whatever, we'll put it on here for now, and that might end up being its own thing. Lumen. Oh, I think bioluminescence kind of fits under its own thing.
Yeah, that would be probably a feature. Bioluminescence.
Oh wow, I spelled that right somehow. Wow.
Slam dunked.
Let's see. Carnivorous plants, fungal bioluminescence.
But yeah, maybe like I said, some kind of like Druid Craft or Thorn Whip, or something along those lines.
Druid Craft, Thorn Whip,
or even like a Tiefling style 1 a day kind of.
Oh yeah, let's use Tiefling as a great baseline.
Yep.
I really, really like, just total tangent, I really love the execution of the Tieflings once a day. They get their cantrip immediately, then they get a 1 a day ability that they get at level 2, and then another one at level 5, I think.
Yeah, it goes at 135. 135.
I really like that thing.
I was going to say, I actually have built a plant person before, and it was based on the Tiefling.
Yeah, I mean, just super cool. What else? Oh boy. Ooh, water plants. Ooh, aquatic.
Maybe some kind of, a water absorption ability. Photosynthesis. Probably that might tie into
Ooh, cacti. I like that. You see, I actually had some cool ideas for some frontier cactus people. So this is actually pretty cool. We got Senor Saguaro was my cactus name.
Oh, you never did him, did you?
Frontier sooner or later. Yeah, I think maybe I'll run Senor Saguaro not this week because this week is DM Player Day, but the week after I'll run Senor Saguaro.
Bark armor. Yeah, maybe there's some kind of hardened skin I can.
Rooted.
Rooted.
Sick.
Yep, that sounds cool.
I really like the idea. Rooted. That sounds just like a really awesome, pretty much generally always applicable cool idea. Able to grow
their own clothes and
Dude,
armor.
That's so sick.
I'm really into that. That sounds really cool.
Armor. What else? I think I really underused the word nerd. Yeah. Oh well. Let's see.
I think that's a good start for Plant People.
Yeah, we can jump back with Plant People, and of course, really easy solution here. Plant People afraid of bunny people. I really like the idea of afraid rather than hate, because one of the things we don't want to do, right, is we don't want to get to a point where we have player characters that are bunny people and player characters that are plant people, and the adventure doesn't happen because they're just yelling at each other the whole time. So we don't want to get to that point.
Agreed.
If one race is known to eat the other, it's going to be some bunny people, and the plant people are going to either be afraid or, it's not going to be a conflicting kind.
Don't want to bake that in necessarily to the thing. Although I do like the idea of that being kind of their history.
Bring it on, mate. I wreck you, I will. Swear it on me mum. Anyway, let's jump down to Selkies. So Selkies, shape-shifting, that's just a key feature with them. I like the idea. What else? Enemies are supposed.
I don't know a lot about Selkies, actually. Turn into seals. I mean, obviously it sounds like a water-breathing kind of thing. Or a swimming speed, at least.
Shape-shifting, aquatic, water, swim speed. Maybe it might be a cool idea to give them, alternate form? Where they can have some other natural abilities while they're in their seal form or something like that. That might be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think I think a race that can shift and change into different forms is pretty rad. Kind of like sirens. Maybe some sort of siren-like allure. Because I think that was kind of the idea. Is they drowned people in mythology.
Let me up my Selkie lore a bit.
Well, I think we can just come back to them for now.
We can learn a bit more if we want to do it. It also
some play nice. Some drown children. Oh, cool.
Ain't that just the way of it? No, nothing. Trigonomes. Probably would we want to do this as a sub race for gnomes or make them their own thing?
I think there's gonna be a sub race.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Yeah, I mean, imagine they get some kind of math-based. I mean, math proficiency at bare minimum.
Oh yeah.
Proficiency in math.
What else could they get? I think they get math magic, and I think we actually have to homebrew some spells.
Yep. Someday we will do some. Someday we'll definitely do some homebrew spells. Well, actually, Trigonomes don't use math magic. Trigonomes are just really good at math.
So they don't actually use their math magic.
Yeah, only the math goblins use math magic.
Oh, okay. So maybe
that's why the math goblins are the evil ones. It's because they tap into the dark powers of mathematics.
Don't use math magic.
Yeah, they're just good at it. I think kind of a lot of what the Trigonomes are is actually fits pretty well already with what the Rock Gnome is, which is, they're tinkerers, they're science, more like a more kind of science bent Rock Gnome where their tinkering is kind of a higher degree of tech.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it might be cool to have them maybe have some kind of resistance to mathematics because they understand it.
That would be really cool.
I'd
be very into that.
That outside of D&D time are useless, but in D&D time.
Yeah, and that's, I assume that people aren't going to be playing a Trigonome in their home game.
Unless their home game is in D&D time, which if it is, let us know. That would blow us away and frighten us at the same time.
Math goblins, definitely math magic.
Math magic?
Yep. They don't have proficiency in math because they're not actually that good at it.
Specifically, not proficient in math. Is there anything else that we'd really need?
Math magics is probably going to be its whole own thing, I imagine. Yeah, that almost sounds like it needs class support.
What?
I said the math goblin almost sounds like it needs a class, like a subclass of a wizard or something to support it.
Yeah, I think definitely a mathematics wizard or something we can do in the future. But we'll brainstorm classes another time, or subclasses another time. Let's see. Trigonomes, resistant math magic. And actually, we got another one in chat, an AI/robot race created by the we'll put this down here next to dwarf, which is just...
Yeah, we got a couple of different robot type deals in there.
Robots. Access to square weapons. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh geez.
Maybe
that would be like a racial ability, right?
Maybe an innate proficiency.
1 per day square weapon. Or maybe or a proficiency square weapon.
Well, actually, isn't everyone proficient in square weapons?
No one's proficient in square weapons. You don't get your bonus to hit.
Oh, that's what it was.
Hey, don't get proficiency. Cool. I think we can. Are there no dog-based races? No, there damn well aren't. Ingram, we're gonna add some dog people. Dog people.
There's a town of dog people in the Plane of Dreams.
We got the puppers.
Well, they're not dog people. They're just dogs that are sentient.
And just
dogs
wolf
barkers
are sentient. The wolf barkers. I like the idea. Kitsune? Kitsune are fox folk, right?
Yeah, those are foxkin, yeah.
I dig that.
Kitsune.
And then foxkin. Anything else for them? Or are they really just the fox? Magic. They have innate magic.
Yes, that sounds familiar.
Maybe they can. Actually, I should probably do this. Innate magic. I imagine they're kind of like whimsical and they can like fly it, right? They can like turn into spirits and things. They're like a spirit form.
That sounds right. It's spirit. I guess when I hear Kitsune, I think of like Kamigawa from Magic.
That's exactly what I think too. So if you're
we both have that nerd touch. You both have that nerd touchdown of MTG.
Thank you very much, Hasbro, i.e. Wizards of the Coast's parent company, for creating more great games. I say creating, but I mean buying out and owning. Tricksters. I like them. Tricksters. So maybe like illusion. Maybe they get some sort of special extra thing when they do illusions. That'd be neat. So Fae, they're Fae. Cool. Ari from League of Legends. I dig it. Shapeshifter. Charm. I think would
charm
be a really
effects. Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Maybe a charm person spell once a day or something like that.
Lots of tails. I love this idea.
Lots of tails.
That's just so cute.
9 tails?
Nah, just lots of tails. You can choose how many tails you have. Maybe how many tails you have? Oh, wait.
People loyal boys.
Your number of tails determines your sub-race. That might be sweet.
That's interesting. The 3 tails and the 2 tails are all different. When we're talking about number of tails, my brain goes to Naruto.
I don't know anything about Naruto.
Yeah, I know you don't know anything about those animes.
Oh, geez, I get more tails with level. Oh, no. All right,
level 20 can soon have 20 tails.
Tails. More tails equals more levels. However, as awesome as we're going right now, Pete, we are right around 2 hours. Is this where we want to pack it in?
Yeah, I'm comfortable packing it in here. Do you want to do endothropes?
Yeah, let's do like a couple more real quick, and then packing, because I think we started a teeny bit. We'll skip the grung for now because they have
they exist.
Compare with existing options. Endothropes. Endothropes are a cool race of lycanthrope insectoids that Pete kind of came up with for one of his adventures a while ago. And
yeah,
right now
I got plans to go back there someday.
We got spider webs. I dig that.
Yep.
So do we want them to be able to like make web?
Maybe like a web spell.
Yeah, or like
spell web, literally.
Web spell is an option. Web sense is an option.
Web sense,
which is like an ability spiders have.
Spider climb.
Actually, making real webs. That's totally an option too. Web shot is like a racial thing.
Spider-Man.
Spider climb.
Yep.
That sounds rad.
The extra legs might have some kind of significance in terms of, objects they can hold or something like that.
Oh yeah, maybe like carry higher capacity.
Higher carry capacity, or they can hold like a potion while they're also holding a sword or something like that. Or
I super dig it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good idea. Those are probably the key things we want to hit when we're doing spiders.
Ant folk, I think at this point.
Powerful build. Powerful build for ant people.
Powerful build.
It's got to go on there. Maybe there's some kind of like regimentation sort of thing that kind of harkens back to the way they're very organized and work well in teams.
Yeah, maybe with the help action.
That could be something cool.
Better with the help action?
Yeah, maybe.
So powerful build, something about better with the help action. What else do the ant people get?
What are their,
maybe they can't become separated from their allies or something? Like it's like following the excuse me.
Bless you.
Of ants. I hope I didn't just blow out all of your ears.
Oh, and Rex mentioned on the spider people poison. Yeah, it's probably something to throw on the list.
Oh, definitely. That's so spider. Ant people powerful build regimentation. I can't really think of too much more.
Yeah.
I mean, burrow speed maybe.
Yeah. Maybe.
It's real weird.
It's very good.
To give that to players. We'll jump back to. Maybe they get poisoned too, right? Like we got the fire ants. Fire ants. Maybe they actually are fiery. That might be neat.
Could be. Bee people that sting, obviously.
It didn't sound like you thought that'd be cool, Pete.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. Sting as ability, obviously flight.
Flight. Some kind of pollination or flower related thing, or bees are known to like remember paths very well and like remember how to get to places. So maybe something involving memory.
Maybe that might be a little hard to actually like build.
I was thinking kind of like
maybe like a flavor thing.
Yeah, it was like a ribbon, like a labyrinthine recall, like a Minotaur has, or something along those lines.
I think actually, you know what? You say disadvantage there, Rex, with the plant people. Maybe they like the plant people.
Get along. I feel like the plant people and the bee people would get along very well.
We'll see.
I'll
put that on there.
There's some symbiosis there.
Plant. A race of baby geniuses. See, we actually can't do babies, unfortunately, because children are immune to damage in the world of D. Well, no. I'm sorry,
that would be
immortal.
Child would be an overpowered race. Well, actually, and if you're playing a child in Adventure in Bartholomew's shop, then Bartholomew takes away your child immunity, but he gives you his own more powerful immunity where you just res when you die.
Well, I think that's actually worse than just not ever dying.
Yeah, but it goes away.
Oh, the butterfly people. I love the idea of butterfly people.
I feel like they have a flight also.
Yeah, a flight for certain.
I feel like they have a charm.
Yeah, charm, sleep.
I was picturing literally Butterfree the Pokemon using like its different. Yeah, exactly. I was thinking like the different spores and stuff that Butterfree uses.
What else could butterfly people have?
Maybe some kind of like camouflage with their patterning.
Maybe. But I really think they're not super well camouflaged. We'll see though. I can't say.
It depends on. I guess it would have to be for a specific environment. Like it would depend on the butterfly, I suppose. Although I guess if you're doing the quintessential butterfly, it's you think of the monarch
with feet. Not a pattern. I think that might be
cool idea.
Too high a level for what we're going for.
But maybe there's kind of like a lesser version of it we could build for it.
Equivalent, and we could go with that tiefling option.
Yeah,
then we could have sleep as level 1 feature, right? Or maybe charm person or something, right? And then
like like a friends, and then I can see it.
I can predict that. I think actually it's a level 1 spell, a level 2 spell. What's the third
I think
spell
it's a level 1, a level 2, and then I think they get darkness. They get
level 2. Yeah.
They get Hellish Rebuke at level 2, and then they get darkness. So first level spell at level 2.
Yeah. Well, we'll check it out.
Yeah, you can go through. It's also like the respective power level of those spells. Like you wouldn't give them like one of the higher impact level 2 spells. You do kind of like the utility thing like darkness.
Saber arms.
Yep, obviously.
Eating their significant others.
I think that's literally what the Mantis people are big saber arms.
What else would they get? Saber arms, eating their I like the idea, right? Of like, this is
the ability to stay very still.
Weapon, and
they can't hold shit.
Can enchant it. That'd be sick.
Oh shit.
The ability to stand extremely. Okay, I'm stopping.
And grasshopper boy.
I don't know what the hell goes here.
Jumps, instrument proficiencies.
I dig that. Instrument prof, maybe like limited flight, not total flight, but like a limited flight feature might be cool.
Yeah, I'm into that. Some kind of noise that they can make.
Like leggy music.
Leggy musics, yeah, exactly.
What else? I'm thinking maybe like in a way not too dissimilar from like a Kenku. Maybe they can replicate noises with their leggies. That might be.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
What else? Grasshopper. I think that's all I can think of for now. Oh, natural armor.
Yeah.
Certain.
Yep.
I think natural armor might be like
that might be one of the inherent things
to the end of tropes in total.
Like exoskeleton or carapace.
Yeah. Carapace, exoskeleton. Wow, I can type. The problem with that, right, and making it a generic thing, is the butterfly people.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
And
I guess the bee people.
So maybe there's like a maybe that would be the kind of thing similar to like how the clerics, right, at level 8, the cleric class gets divine strike or potent spell casting. Maybe that's something that these subclasses either get natural armor or some other cool feature that would roll with that.
Fergus says slug people.
Oh yeah! There we go. Slug boys.
Slug boys. I'm very
super into the slug. Hey, how's it going? Slippery Jim. Anyway,
so yeah, want to wrap it up there, or do you want to do like one more maybe? Is there any one that we really want to hit?
No, I think what we're gonna do here is this is a good place for us to take a moment, take a break, thank all of you beautiful people
indeed.
for hanging out. We really love having you here. And honestly, I'm having a lot of fun putting this together.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I'm having a great time. I'm super stoked. I'm really excited to make some of these races. I did not realize that there was this many awesome ideas rolling around.
Yeah, nor I. Like I said, I'm really excited about this Imagined.
Yeah, so I think what we can do here is we're going to cut it here. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you especially, and it's not that I don't love the rest. I just especially love Ian Grimm tonight for his subscription. Thank you for your support. And I love
thank you very much,
the Hobbit
Ian,
for your follow. We super appreciate that. The only way that we will ever grow here in the land of D&D Time is for you to tell people you know that D&D Time is great and that they come and follow us and give us all of their love. All of it. We want all of it. And that's all. You know, we're not asking for much, just all of your love.
Yeah.
That's all. I got a little
dark there, Jeremy. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone, to tune in. We really appreciate it. The next time that you will see us will be Wednesday, where it looks like we are going to be talking about Morden Cannons' Tome of Foes and going over the stuff within. Don't know exactly what we're going to do. I don't think either of us will be able to read the whole of Morden Cannons' Tome of Foes.
I can read the whole of Morden Cannons' Tome of Foes.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, well, I don't know if I can read all of Morden Cannons' Tome of Foes, but we shall see, and we will definitely be discussing that on Wednesday for D&D Time Talks.
Well, Pete, I think before we jump off, first, just a quick announcement, just reminding you from earlier, this Friday is Player DM Day, where our favorite Adrian P., a.k.a. The Judge Switch, the Fox in the Box, a.k.a. Selkris, it's not the Ice Princess anymore.
The Frozen Crown.
The Frozen Crown. Kurogan, Xandaril, otherwise known as Kurogan, the Great and Powerful.
The Great and Powerful, yes.
And Reflected 10A, a.k.a. Lance Silverblood, the Silver
Hierophant,
will be running adventures on Friday for Pete and I to play in. They should be exciting and fun. We're super stoked. So make sure to tune in. As a result, there will be no normal signups for Pete and Jeremy's D&D Time this week, but we will resume next week, as always. So yeah, make sure to tune in. It'll be awesome. And besides that, I think that's about it. Thanks everyone for hanging out. We're super stoked to have you all. And
hey nerds table, last minute, hello.
Wave. I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Pete. And this is D&D Time Brews.
Bye-bye.